Okay, so it seems like recently Neurosama has been getting caught in a kind of AI conversation, and well, it's been a pretty interesting one because if you guys don't know, recently we covered the Leaflit situation where she created or is in the kind of process of creating an AI tool to create AI PNG like animations and models and whatever you want to call them to essentially help smaller streamers who maybe can't afford stuff like that to yeah, use AI and whatever. And we covered that in the last video on like the different kind of arguments that people were making for and against it. And again, we just kind of surmised it to, if you want to use it, it's there and you can use it. And if you don't want to use it and you don't like AI, that's fine as well. You know, you don't have to do that, right? But again, obviously, this was one of the things that have popped up here. So some people have been talking about Neurosama in response to this, saying being anti-AI is fine, but why would any up-and-coming VTuber want to use an artist? If all they do is rage and attack anybody who says AI is fine or they like this program? If using AI as a VTuber is wrong, then what about Neurosama, the AI VTuber? I've never seen rage over that. So obviously that's what someone over on Twitter has said. And then obviously Leaflet says Neuro is different and creative, and obviously like a little like quote, like obviously quoting what people usually say. We're saying Neuro is different and creative, and yeah, there definitely has been a more what do you call it, like acceptance towards Neurosama, right? In terms of AI and VTubing, because I do think there is a little bit of a difference in terms of the whole like vedal behind it, and the fact that I think the vedal and a lot of the guests and stuff like that as well make up a lot of the show, or a lot of the stream, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, obviously, people have been kind of discussing it, saying you're just jealous that you and all the AI companies are getting mogged on by a British turtle and his two AI daughters. And obviously, yeah, so that's what they've said in response to Leaflet there. And then Leaflet then goes and responds to this with a quote retweet saying, "Jealous, I love Neuro and I wish for their continued success. I'm just pointing out that all of you have inconsistent logic, which you just proved now. Even if you can't see it, everyone outside of your little bubble can. Neuro is different and creative." So obviously then they respond saying, we have consistent logic that you just refuse to accept. You were wrong. Both your AI projects are built on stolen artwork. Neurosama is not. Not a single person you claim is a Luddite who actually hates or fears the technology itself. The method that companies like OpenAI used to improve technology, which was mass copyright infringement. When presented with this information, you've repeatedly lied and twisted your opponent's arguments to suit your false narrative. None of you pro-AI folks respect any of the artists you stole from, to the point that you literally created a slur for people that are against AI. Obviously, there's been a lot of replies to this. Leaf Corvus is just a little. I don't know if I can say that. I don't know if that's if that's a bad word or not. So I'm just going to avoid it. Who needs attention in his life? Let's just give him the gold star and say that's a nice steer and move on. Saying, "Oh, I know. I just want other people to see how inconsistent that logic is. They do damage to themselves just by talking." So, yeah, obviously, a lot of people have been kind of clowning on this guy, which again, they do bring up the point of, yes, there is this kind of factor, which is very different to Leaflet's tool. If you guys don't know what Leaflet's tool is, well, like here it is again. Essentially, it's just a tool that like kind of creates AI animations and an AI like model and whatever to kind of like create little expressions, a bit like a PNG tuber, or almost exactly like a PNG tuber, right? Except a little bit more, movable, a little bit more dynamic, I think you could say. Which obviously is a little bit different to Neurosama, who is a VTuber who uses a real, like, artist-made model, obviously by Annie. Annie made the model for, or at least the current model for Neurosama. And the AI part of Neurosama is like the kind of brain behind it, and the, the speech as well, which of course is a little bit different, I feel like. But of course, yeah, people have been talking about this, and Neuro is still AI. How can anti-AI people justify that honestly? So they can't. That's my point. Quite a dilemma for them. Then Leaf Buddy, who are you picking on a 70 IQ, saying, "I need the common man and our tribe to see what our opposition looks like when they take the mask off." The videos came out and said that Neuro is generative AI. Anyone who's anti-AI is just grifting if they like Neuro. People can not like Neuro and be an anti-AI person. These people are evil and dishonest as hell. Can you send this to me? which obviously, yeah, I don't know. Saying, don't you know, only people who can afford super expensive dedicated AI rigs should have access to AI. Subsidized online cloud computing for the common person, where they can have AI on their phones, is terrible and awful. Screw all these companies giving this capability to the common man. So yeah, obviously a lot of people arguing against the whole Neurosama thing, obviously saying that, like, obviously Vedal has, I'm pretty sure, like, his own kind of thing for Neuro, right? Like his own server, I think you could say. I don't know exactly the details of it, right? But of course, some people are saying, oh, it's different because he owns the server and owns the kind of the hardware behind it, right? Whereas some people argue, well, it's just kind of the same thing, but on a smaller scale. And the things that companies are doing with like AI data centers and whatever are just a larger scale of that. Just, you know, this is more accessible to literally everybody else, which I think is something that, you know, is interesting, right? Obviously, there's been a lot of quote retweets as well to this, saying the problem with the anti-AI crowd is that they don't know how to mind their own business. We're not raiding artists' posts telling them to stop drawing and use AI instead. We're staying in our lane, building and creating. They should try to do the same. The reason AI bros are getting louder now is simple. We're getting tired of the constant lectures and smug virtual signaling. We're done letting them dictate what we're allowed to create. If they would just shut up and stay on their side, then there wouldn't be any constant discourse. I'm saying Neuro is different, but both Leaflit and Vedal use AI to create something. How is one more creative than the other? Just because she didn't draw it with her own hands, that is not where creativity ends. Sorry. Saying the only thing about Neurosama that is AI is in fact the fact that she's a chatbot, which chatbots aren't a new concept and have been around long before the generative AI hype. Her model is still made by a real artist and a rigger, and if you really believe what you're doing is by any means the same as what Vedal did, then you're delusional. Obviously, there's someone against Leaflit there, saying Neurosama is an AI-powered VTuber created by a programmer Vedal. Her brain uses a large language model to chat, but her physical anime avatars are drawn and rigged by human artists. And obviously, there's been probably some responses to that one, saying it's an LLM and is just as bad as the other LLMs. Nobody takes Neurosama seriously anyways, and the only reason people like her is because of her model. There is a reason why nobody brings her up in terms of the best VTuber personality, and that's because she doesn't have any. Now, again, I think, you know, Neurosama is very much liked. You know, we've covered her many times, and I am a big fan of Neurosama, right? You know, I think that she is great, so, you know, I hope this, you know, people don't dog on her too much, because, like, I do like her. And obviously, you know, Leaflet even says that she likes Neuro and the kind of project behind it with Vedal. It's just more so the debate that people have whenever it comes to AI and, you know, people accepting Neurosama as like an AI VTuber, but not any other AI tools, which again, obviously, then it goes down into the little, what do you call it, details and inconsistencies and whatever. Some people saying like, oh, well, technically she's not an AI because of blah, 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 and saying, oh, but she is an AI because of blah, 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 blah. Right? Like, it is just one of those things where it goes backwards and forwards, and nobody agrees, right? Nobody ever goes, actually, yeah, you know what, you're right. I don't think she's an AI. Or, no, you're right, I do think she's AI. No, it's just one of these debates that have been going around for literally ever. And I think it's just kind of blown up again due to this tool that has come out. Which I do think is, yeah, interesting. And obviously, yeah, this was saying, so hold on, you're telling me an artist can create a thing that helps with AI VTubing, but a VTuber cannot create a thing that helps with AI art. So yeah, obviously they're saying, yeah, and generate a shitty AI slot model instead of getting a real artist / rigger. Yeah, dude, Neurosama being made by a drawn and rigged by a real person is kind of the whole point of the argument. Leaflet is closet to be the credible cop of VTubing. Then she is the next Vedal with her Gencast AI VTuber model generator. So yeah, obviously that was the response. That was what they said, and that's what Leaflet responded to it with. It's interesting, right? It's a very interesting conversation. As I said, you know, I think Neurosama is great. Obviously, lots of people have different opinions whenever it comes to like whether she's AI or not, and whether you know, it's the good AI. If there even is a good AI, I feel like, you know, that it's just I feel like people are trying to kind of justify it too much. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of a an argument that will never end. But yeah, I mean, that is essentially all there is for this video. I just kind of wanted to cover it because I thought it was pretty interesting. That obviously Neuro has now become the center of the conversation surrounding this situation in general. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like, and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.